Good morning. It's actually morning here still. So figured we'd move Mornings with Michael to the morning for a change. So welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Today is Taco Tuesday, so get out there and support your favorite taco truck or taco joint. Last night we had an interesting meeting with Rotten City Pizza. Learned a little bit more about Emeryville, how it earned its moniker for Rotten City, as it was a bootlegger back in, I guess, the 20s. And Rotten City pizza is supposed to be the best replica of New York City style pizza in the Bay Area. So check them out, and let's move on with the show. I'm going to share our screen. Go to our heat map first. Here's what's warm at the moment. Microsoft's moving up pretty close to 1%. Amazon's pulling back. Tesla's up 3%. Meta is slightly up. Walmart is up a little over 1%. Energy is trying to bounce back. And utilities are bouncing back. So that's a look there. I'm going to show our pension screen. Seems to be, here we go. Private pension or annuity. Once you step up in value, will not come down. As we can see, annuity beats index investing by about 5% on the annual growth rate. Sleep better at night, knowing that your investment is sound and will keep going up. And how do they do that? They give you a big bonus. Right now, they're giving a 40 to 45% bonus. Don't know how long that'll stay since bond yields are pulling back. But this is and the index investing bobs and weaves with the stock market. You know, we have a potential big recession coming up. So yeah, this is where index investing could definitely lose money. So that's that. Share our screen here. Greenwich pulled back here. This is the issue keep looking at. So let's go take a look at our indexes. First, got the dollar index. Continues to fall off. It did have a strong reversal here. So it's off about 7 cents today. Gold is gapping up. It's really strong here. Pretty amazing. Had a little bit of a pullback, and then it is just off to the races. Volume is picking up. Had a double bottom here. One had a bottoming base, and then it cleared its 10-day, 20-day, and then it pulled back a little bit, and then it gapped up big time, went above the 50-day, bumped its head against the 200, and then once it's cleared the 200, it's just been moving on up. Silver continues its move up as well. Remember what I said, might be fruitful if it gets above this area to take 10 or 15% profit. And then when it pulls back, I don't know, in this area, you may want to buy it back plus 2%. So if you sold off 15%, you'd want to buy 17%, buy when prices are low. Silver is continually going to be needed in any EV production and a number of other manufacturing. Let's take a look at our Copper issue, still waiting for this copper miner to bottom out. I think it has pretty good potential. Might be interesting to nibble at it once it gets above the 20-day moving average. Southern Copper, we'll see if it can bottom here at it's under all of its moving averages, so it's kind of a tough area right now. Freeport McMoran is bouncing up. We definitely got a double, well, not really a double bottom. Got pretty, yeah, I guess we do got a double bottom. It just looks weird how the chart is laid out. It's 33.05 and pulled back to 32.83. The middle is still pretty high, 44.70. Might be worth nibbling if it gets above its 200-day moving average. Vale starting to show some excitement. Pulled back after gapping up 2 days in a row here. Rio just kind of hanging in there. As we know, it's over a 5% yield on the dividends. And BHP Group out of Australia. It's above all of its moving averages. Had a pretty nice move up. Pulled back to its 10-day moving average, and we'll see if it can break back up with some volume. Look at Ethereum. We didn't look at it yesterday. Had a big gap down yesterday, and it's fighting to come back here, bouncing off of the 10-day moving average. Bitcoin doing about the same. Big bounce, up 4.73%. Volume's kind of muted. Look at our yield, continues to pull back. Another 0.5% today. 20-year is actually up slightly today. A little diversion here between the two. See what our fear index is doing. Fear index did bounce quite a bit. There wasn't really any gaps to fill over here, but it is now down near the lows. As we said, with the fear index too low, that's a worrying sign for the market. Got a slight, pretty flat on the S&P 500 today. The equal weighted one, take out all the big tech companies. It's doing about the same. The NASDAQ, very similar to the S&P 500. The equal weight on the NASDAQ. Pulling back to its 10-day moving average. The small caps, we kind of got a shelf building here. It is off 0.5% today. The volume had picked up on selling yesterday and today, but yesterday it did climb back to its highs, so that was a positive. We'll just have to continue watching it. The Dow Jones is actually eking out a profit today, up 0.15%. So let's take a look around at our financials. JP Morgan is the leading financials. Capital One looks like they're trying to get a breakout here. Citibank doesn't look so good. Wells Fargo actually looking pretty good. We got a big cup with a handle here, and Not quite a double bottom. I believe it has a 12-month target of $55, $60. Not sure if it can get there in this year, in 1 year, but maybe in 2 years. We'll just kind of wait and see. Communications with Google and Meta leading the area. Not much is happening there today. Energy. Energy is definitely popping up today. Got a bounce in the oil fund today. Biotech pulling back to the 10-day moving average. The other one is pulling back under the 20. Real estate continues to do well as bond yields continue to pull back. Looks like we definitely got a double bottom here. It took out 3507 would have been the breakout. And it keeps trending up. Only thing to worry about is right in here, low volume. When something moves up on low volume, we call that wedging. And then higher volume comes in the selling. That's the one thing to worry about. Here we have our software. It's definitely in the buy zone here. Have a double bottom, flat base. Cleared that area. Technology. Almost a mirror image of our software group. Infrastructure development isn't going anywhere very fast. Our semiconductor index is pulling back today, down about 1%. Industrials, kind of pulling back, but pretty low volume today. Building materials keep trending positively. The only downside is volume is pretty low. Metals and mining tried to break out. We got a little bit of a pullback here. And home builders are pretty flat. So let's see what where professional money management is moving their money today. I'm just going to put this on pause. So we're back. My little handset ran out of juice. So let's share our screen again. See where financial money managers are moving their money. We'll have a little ARK investments. This is some area that Kathy Woods of ARK Investments is bottom fishing. Bought up a lot of toast recently. Trade Desk. And there's one other that so PDD gapping up big time today. Chinese provider, third-party mobile e-commerce platform. Massive volume. Not sure what's going on there. Twilio, San Francisco company, looks like it's not gapping up, but breaking out here of shelf pattern. Pretty good volume. Earnings 315% up this quarter. Next year, they're expected to be up 13%. In the cybersecurity crowd, yeah. I had a call option I got scared out of 155. I keep lamenting that every day. I see crowd being bought up big time. Zscaler got a lot of volume here. They beat their earnings estimates. I'm not sure if their guidance was a little light, but we'll look at that a little more in the education section. Palo Alto Networks looks like it's breaking out today. Pretty good volume. Their earnings were down 3% and down 21% in 2025, but they had a 66% earnings up this last quarter. They did sell off after that, but it is now breaking out, as you can see. New Oriental Education just keeps climbing the ladder. This is what we call an ascending base, as it just keeps ascending and ascending and ascending. Don't see it too often, but in some of the leading companies, you do see it, like we showed in Tombstone Pizza yesterday. Not Tombstone, I should say Domino's. Shark Ninja, recent IPO. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of breaking out over all these different levels. Got some pretty good volume over here, and we'll just have to see what it ends with today. Earnings came in at 35% up this quarter. Atlassian, in the software sector, moving up. Let's see if it can break above its 50-day moving average. Definitely a double bottom with 208.96 would be a buy point. If you're looking at the double bottom, we can see on the weekly down here, a little jagged double bottom. Wayfair starting to move up. Could be a bottoming base as it clears this area right here. Hit bottom at 38.37, came up to 50.40, pulled back. This might have been a shakeout +3, and then it gapped up the next day. Shakeout +3 is when professional money managers like to shake or scare people out so they can get better pricing. And there you have it. And Monday, which was profiled yesterday, up again today, up another 0.5%. Huge volume yesterday, and we'll just have to see where the volume ends today. Earnings came in at 1,000% above. And let's take a look at where people are moving out of. Looks like Zscaler slightly 0.36%. Legend Biotech I wouldn't say that necessarily moving out of, because it's getting some support here, but it is below all of its moving averages, which is a danger sign. Argenx and ADR, gaps down pretty hard, down 10% today. Massive volume. That's a pretty big danger sign. They didn't have any earnings. In the oil and gas space, we got a gap down in TORM, former leader, gap down to the 50-day moving average. Yeah, they have negative 44% for their earnings report. That's pretty surprising the way oil has been moving. We got O'Reilly, B. Riley Financial, continues trending down. They had a big loss, $2.53 versus $2.64 profit. We have Alibaba, danger sign under all the moving averages. And we got increased selling. This is not a good position to be in. Former leader in the liquefied natural gas area. It's moving down. Take a look at LNG as well. Got a little sell off there. And Golar LNG is down as well. So that's a look at those issues. So let's go move on to our educational portion today. So Zscaler tops views. Guidance tops views amid sales and marketing changes. Fiscal first quarter earnings and revenue that topped Wall Street targets amid federal government sales. It definitely had a high expectations. Earnings rose 131% to 67 cents per share from a year earlier on adjusted basis. Revenue climbed 40 to 496%. So we'll come back to that, but let's move on to see what our company news for today is. Kind of glossed over that section. When my phone went down. So let me pull that up again. Crocs is upgraded to strong buy from outperform at Raymond James. Had been trending up 1, 2, 3 days in a row, and now it's moving up again. Pretty good volume yesterday and continued strong volume today. Shopify, which was upgraded yesterday by someone, is now downgraded to neutral at Piper Sandler. Current shares hold a untenable valuation. They pulled back slightly, not too bad. Sometimes this doesn't mean anything. We'll just have to kind of see over the next couple of days. Boeing upgraded to outperform from sector perform and got a nice bounce off of a slight shelf pattern building here. RBC Capital saying shares in the company are in the early stages of significant shift, sentiment, and strong demand. We got Clearway Energy will replace Veritiv Corporation in the S&P 500, S&P 600 small cap. Clayton, Dubilier, and Rice LLC is to acquire Vertiv Corporation. kind of take a look at, yeah, it's been pretty flat ever since they announced a cash offer. Oshkosh Defense announced that the U.S. Army Contracting Command Detroit Arsenal awarded a production contract for Medium Equipment Trailer, or MET. Oshkosh will partner with Rolls-Royce BV to execute $342 million contract, and that didn't really help their stock. Southwest Energy, or Gas Holdings, said Paul Daly intends to retire in 2024 as president and chief executive officer of the subsidiary Centuri Group. And they got a little bit of a bounce. Not sure if it had to do with their earnings. Just see if can get above the 200-day moving average. On to financials. A firm upgraded to hold from underperform at Jefferies and raised target at $30. I typed the right ticker symbol, and it rose to above $30 from $9.50, saying many of the factors driving the underperform rating have played out. Bank of Nova Scotia missed Q4 profit estimates as the company set aside more money than expected for potentially souring loans, increases provision to credit losses. And so that's what's happening there. We got a gap down and pretty good volume. Carlyle Group will replace ICU Medical Incorporated in the S&P Midcap 400. And Carlyle Group is having quite a day. Huge volume. It's closing on its low. We'll just see if it can remain above that bottom today, moving forward. If so, it may be potential buy area. And ICU Medical has been in a big downtrend. It will replace PacWest Bancorp in the S&P Small Cap 600, which is being acquired by BANC. Bank of California is acquiring Pacific Bancorp, and they have not recovered from the big sell-off in regional banks. W.P. Carey got a big move, will replace Worthington Industries in the S&P 500, 400, S&P Midcap 400. Worthington Industries will replace Advantex in the S&P Small Cap 600. And let's take a look at Worthington. Actually got a nice move there. Got a gap up on some huge volume. And Advantex looks like it got a cash offer, is being bought out. On to healthcare. Aldera Therapeutics receives complete response letter from the US FDA for Proxolap, new drug application for treatment of dry eye disease, and additional trial required to demonstrate positive effect on the treatment of ocular symptoms in dry eye disease. And it is up nearly 2% today. I believe we looked at Argenx earlier, fell after saying that its study evaluating Vyegart Hytrulo didn't meet the primary endpoint in sustained platelet count response in patients with chronic primary immune thrombocytopenia, an autoimmune disorder. And it is falling, 10%, as we saw earlier. Bristol Myers Squibb said it will take a stake in Avidity Biosciences. Bristol Myers is stuck under all of its moving averages. It's up only 0.12%. This acquisition really helped Avidity, though. Huge volume, up nearly 20%, as part of a broader licensing and research deal focused on the development of commercialization of multiple cardiovascular targets. Bristol will pay Avidity $60 million in cash and buy about $40 million of its stock at a price of $7.88 a share as part of the deal. And that is above where it is trading today. Novavax said its protein-based COVID-19 vaccine has been granted emergency listing by the World Health Organization. The move means that all 194 of the agency member states can use the Novavax vaccine for individuals aged 12 and older. And it got a slight bump up, $1.28. SpringWorks Therapeutics said the FDA approved nirogacestat, the biotech's oral treatment for desmoid tumors. And they got quite a bump there, up almost 21%. We looked at PDD Holdings earlier, quarter three EPS $1.64 versus estimate $1.23. Quarter three revenues $9.62 billion versus estimate of $7.69 billion. So this is why this is moving up and at its peak today. Tenable announces $100 million share buyback. That didn't get too much news. Maybe the rumor came out yesterday and it's selling off a little bit. And we looked at Zscaler. Quarter one adjusted EPS 67 cents versus 49 cents on revenues of 496.703 million versus estimate of 473.35 million. Sees quarter two adjusted EPS 57 to 58 cents a share versus estimate of 51 cents. Full year revenues approximately 2.09 billion, and that forecasts indicate that by 2028, the market scale for micro LED and wearables is poised to surpass that of TV use micro LED, with Apple Watch adoption expected to materialize in 2026 at the latest, Digitime reports. And that's all for our news for the day. Back to Zscaler. There's some management changes going on. The company has hired a new chief revenue officer, Mike Rich, formerly of ServiceNow. It also hired a new chief marketing officer, Joyce Kim from Twilio. Zscaler competes with Palo Alto Networks and Microsoft. So that's the story with Zscaler. And we're looking at 7 companies that look to increase their earnings over 100%. We'll just take a quick look at them. Merck, which one? It's been severely down. It hasn't really done too much for a long time. It's down a little over 1% today. Stanley Black & Decker, working on a cup with a handle, it looks like. We'll see if it can break out. Yeah, it had tried to break out of a cup with a handle over here and it failed. So let's just see. Estee Lauder, it's moving up nearly 2% today. So Merck is expected to earnings per share go up 513% next year. Stanley Black & Decker, 250.5%. Estee Lauder, 192.6%. Tyson Foods. All of these are kind of like turnaround plays. They've been fairly down. Tyson Foods, 177.6%. Maybe building a bottoming base here. See if it can get above its 50-day moving average. Paramount Global, expected increase in earnings next year, 129.5%. They may have been working on a bottoming base as well. Digital Realty Trust, looks like it's already broken out of cup with a handle here. Still in the buy area where you get to the breakout, and as long as it's no longer more than 5% above the breakout, it's possible to buy. And you can check where the sell areas are right around $160. So if it moves from 137 to 161, that where you would take at least 1/3 of your profits in the 20 to 25% area. And this is where we have to leave it today. We have one other of a call coming in. Pfizer is expected to be up 102.3%. So that's our show for today. This has been Mornings with Michael for information, educational purposes only. Go out and support your favorite taco truck. And if you have any work on your goals and your activities, and if you have any financial goals, activities you're concerned about, feel free to reach out to us. In the meantime, have a great day. Hello?